Hey everyone, Travis here. Day 2, Week 10 EULCS with Impaler from Super Hot Crew. Right after a hour-long match against Gambit, where you guys basically slowly carved them out and then beat them. Impaler, my first question for you is that I just did an interview with Nif where I implied that Gambit would beat you guys, and I thought, oh, that's probably what will happen. Did you guys win because you heard me say that so that I could look awful in that interview?
It was just a really scrappy game, like constant fighting. Each team trying to like utilize each other's team's like downfalls. Like we had to try split push, so they just all rush mid, and we all get like carved out of the way. But yeah, it was just really scrappy. I felt like we won because it got to the late game, not because we played better than them. It was just like a really scrappy, all around long and drag out game, and that's just how it was.
Do you think that was your comp coming into play there? Because you guys seem to have the better late game comp.
Our comp was kind of messy. Like we didn't really know what we were doing with it. We had just good laners that we wanted, and then we knew if we got to the late game, then we'd probably win. So as soon as the lane phase didn't go ideal, we lost an early dragon. We knew that we had to try and drag out the game and utilize the split push. And if it got to the late game team fights, we knew they had like a crazy wombo combo. But it's really hard to get that off when we've got so much peel. Like we've got Karma speed, KO speed, and I just jump around stunning people. So yeah.
Now, by the time you guys were able to take your first inhib from their base, you guys were down several thousand gold. What do you think was allowed you in sort of that moment to start swinging back into the game?
In the team fights, like they need to commit and try and get off their wombo combo, but we kind of just spread out and we're just generally being a nuisance. So they'd have to kind of half commit, and often they missed a few ults because some people thought they could fight and some people couldn't. And just in general, we were just being a nuisance, and they were really trying to like team fight us, but we refused to do so.
This is your second week with Selfie on the team. Do you think that Selfie was, sort of made a difference in today's match?
Yeah, because the match was because it's so scrappy, it's similar to solo queue, like constant fights, and it's just mainly mechanics, and they need to try and engage, and we just need to try and stop them. So if everyone knows what they're doing and everyone knows their abilities in the team fights and what the enemies can do, then you can just constantly fight. And with a team like KO and Kate, we just protect our backline and let their front line die. So yeah, that's what we did. And yeah, he's really strong mid lane, and he knows a lot what to do in team fights. So there was times when he flashes in and he goes hard and he gets a kill, and there's times when he flashes out and they go in on him and he gets a kill. So either way, it's win-win.
Now, I've heard you describe the game now as scrappy about 12 times. This is the first time I've ever heard that word being described in like a League of Legends match. Is this like a British thing?
I don't know. It's just like Russian dogs fighting English dogs, I guess, just taking chunks out of each other. And luckily, well, we're not all English, but yeah, the European doggies won this fight this time.
Is this a common way of? Is that how you perceive the game? Is basically like a dogs like going at it or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Just 5 dogs taking chunks out of each other, and then the Russian wolves running away and hiding in the snow, I guess.
I like this British analogy. Like I know another British person whose name I think is Thorne. I'm not really familiar with any of his work, but he does a lot of analogies as well. Is this like a British thing to just like take esports and turn it all into these analogies?
I guess so. Yeah. We like making up random stories for situations, I guess.
Understood. Super Hot Crew, not doing so super well in the rankings right now. If you excuse me, I really enjoyed that. Is this something, because you guys have Super Week coming up soon? Are you guys expecting to perform in a really super fashion then?
I hope we do super well. We should go for a 4-0, but I don't know. Like we really need to get the 4-0, so we're just going to try really hard. I think we'll get like 2 days practice. Yeah. So it all depends. How much can one team do in 2 days? I guess we'll just scrim really hard. We need to get a good sleeping schedule as well, and then hopefully we'll get 4 wins.
Do you think Selfie has solved, the problems that were holding you back from being competitive with some of these top tier teams?
He's a step in the right direction. Like at this split, we're just trying to survive. Like we came here kind of on a bit of luck, and now we're just here to like get the experience, get the team play behind. Like all the big teams have, like Fnatic and Gambit, they've got excellent team play, and we need to be a team that can compete with them on that level in team fights and rotations. So for now, we need to survive, but next split, if we stay around, which I'm hoping we do, then that's going to be the split that we thrive.
Do you expect to avoid relegations, or do you having to fight, just avoid relegations, or do you think that you'll have to go into those promotion relegation matches?
It's a possibility. We think we might, it's really 50-50 right now. I think Copenhagen Wolves and us, and maybe even Rocket, are going to fight for that second spot of relegation. And unless Millennium can really pull something out the bag, they're going to struggle to get out of that spot. So between us, Roccat, and Copenhagen Wolves, it's all about who wins the most games. And we're going to face Copenhagen Wolves in Super Week and Roccat. So if we win against both of them, then hopefully we can just let them two finish each other off for that final relegation spot.
Super Hot Crew, kind of a new team. You guys, I don't think, have had too much content around you guys yet. So I'm just interested if you have anything that you'd like to say now that you've been here for almost this full split to any of the fans out there.
There's not many Super Hot Crew fans, but the fans who are out there, we really appreciate you following us. Like, there's people in the crowd even chanting our name now and chanting selfie when the game ends. And it's like really amazing to have that behind you. And yeah, I thank everyone for doing that.
Oh, the one thing I do want to ask you before we sign out here is there a chance that you could make it so that Selfie's like victory pose after each game is that he pulls out a phone and takes a picture of himself or something?
I think that's a really good idea, actually. I'm going to propose it to him, but he's kind of a bit, I don't know, not awkward, but he's not the most confident guy. Like, he's not English speaking. Yeah, he's kind of shy. So yeah, I'll propose it to him and I'll try and I'll help him do the first one. I'll stick around in the background, then maybe it'll become a trend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that I could, hopefully affect some change in the EU LCS in my short time over here. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage of the EU LCS and all things esports at ongamers.com.